this week's chapter of One Piece, we get to see an awesome flashback sequence where Jack the Drought completely demolishes the Mink tribe. This week's chapter was really informative. We got to see more of the Mink tribe. We finally got to see Jack in action in his giant mammoth form, and that's because he's using a devil fruit, an ancient powered one, which allows him to transform into a massive mammoth creature. So we haven't seen his true form quite yet, but there's certainly a lot of evidence to what he might look like in his mammoth form. That being said, his mammoth form is incredibly powerful. Just one swing of his trunk is all it takes to destroy large parts of the Mink tribe city. We also get to see the return of Sheep's Head, we have Jin Rummy, not to mention we also get to see these two other factions which belong to the Beast Pirates, the Pleasures and the Gifters. And they're both pretty ridiculous in how they look. I mean, I think one of the guys even has a lobster claw. Like the Mink tribe, they also seem to be sort of like this weird combination of humans and animals, only they're a little more mutated. They literally look like mutants and less like furries. And that brings us to the Mink tribe. They were pretty freaking awesome in this chapter because at first it seems like they were just going to get destroyed by these guys. But all of the Mink tribe are amazing warriors, especially because this old monkey guy comes out. He's like, look, if we all fight each other, there's a good chance most of our armies are just going to be completely destroyed. But if you just talk with our higher-ups, we can figure out something, see if we can find this Rhizo guy for you. But Jack is not going to have that. So they all start to fight each other. But even like the little baby members of the Mink tribe, they have this like electro ability where they're able to just destroy the Gifters and the Pleasures. But they eventually are defeated, and we find out why at the very end of this week's chapter of One Piece, because according to Chopper, it seems like Jack actually took one of Caesar Clown's poison bombs and used that to actually destroy everything. Which means everybody's favorite mad scientist is out there doing God knows what. We're also introduced to one of the two kings of Zou, the first one being Inuarashi, who, as I theorize, is a dog. He's actually a very big dog wearing sunglasses, and this character seems like he's going to be a lot of fun. They claim that he's the most powerful warrior, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I really want to see this guy in action because he's pretty massive, and I just love the design. I love the design, actually, of this entire arc. Just every single character is so incredibly distinct now that they're like these weird half-human, half-animal creatures. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of One Piece? What I really loved, I think, about this chapter was how Luffy responded to the backstory of Jack destroying the Zou Island, because it sounded like really disturbing. It seemed like something that Frankie would probably start crying about, but Luffy was just excited over the prospect of there actually being a mammoth there. That being said, I loved the flashback in this week's chapter. To finally get to see Jack in action is awesome, even if it's not his true form, but his ruthlessness is still there. This is going to be a very hardcore pirate. He's basically one of the calamities of the Beast Pirates. That's what they refer to him as. There's also a few other characters who are introduced in this chapter who are frankly just ridiculously awesome. There is Sicilian, who is a member of the Three Musketeers of the Zou Island, who is this humanoid lion who is completely over the top in everything he does and what he dresses and what he says. Just this character just exemplifies why One Piece has some of the most memorable and ridiculous characters I have ever seen, and he seems like he's going to be a really fun character. I can't wait to see the other members of his group, and I can't wait to see these guys in action. My favorite thing about this chapter, without a doubt, was finally getting to see more of Jack and the other members of Kaido's crew, because they're so well designed, and they all look awesome. I can't wait to see the other forms of Jack as well, especially his more humanoid form, where it's combined with his mammoth. I think that's going to look really awesome with the tusks and everything, and how big the character is going to be. I can't wait to see how he's going to really fight, because we've only seen him in his like full animal form. I'm really excited for that. On the technical side of things, this week's chapter looked very good. The artwork was very nice. All the characters are incredibly distinctive and really fun to look at, and the dialogue was also really awesome. Just, this was a fantastic chapter of One Piece. I'm very much enjoying the Zou arc right now. It's already probably in my top 10 favorite arcs of the series thus far, and just for the sheer creativity of it. I never really can kind of tell what's going to be happening next. I can't wait to learn more about this Rhizo character. I can't wait to learn what happened to Caesar Clown and Sanji, and I just cannot wait for the rest of this arc. So this is a very exciting flashback, and something that any One Piece fan should definitely check out. So I'm going to give this week's chapter a 5 out of 5. I liked it that much. I had no complaints with it, and I just think it was a fully entertaining entertaining read that any One Piece fan should definitely check out. So check it out, guys. You might see something you like. But before you guys leave today, make sure to tell me what you thought about this week's chapter of One Piece. What did you think about finally getting to see Jack in action? What do you want to see more from his crew and from the other members of Kaido's organization? And what do you want to see from the rest of the One Piece Zou arc? Make sure to tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!